Hello everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of ChatGBT. Very special week this week. We have a very special guest who will be giving us his story, life story and jiu-jitsu story. So I will introduce him as my friend Professor Adam, but he will give you a little bit more detail about who he is, what he is to Gracie Barra Tooting. So please, what's your name? What rank do you hold in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and what are you to Gracie Barra Tooting?
Hi everyone. I'm Professor Adam, or Ads to my friends and fellow students. I teach on a Thursday lunchtime and Monday evening for GB2, and sometimes a Saturday morning when Professor Tom wants a lion.
Love lions. So, black belt, Gracie Barra Tooting coach. You teach Monday evenings for our intermediate or GB2 session, which is for white belts, 3 stripes and above, at 6 p.m. till 7:30, and on Thursday lunchtime, 12:30 till 1:30, teaching the fundamentals of the Gracie Barra curriculum, the GB1s. Can you tell us about your first experience with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and why you ended up, ultimately, why you ended up continuing on with it and becoming a black belt, and then a coach?
My journey into black beltdom started when I was about 10, and I did some judo. Usual thing, mum signs you up to do this thing. But I had some friends, and I probably did that for a couple of years. And then dabbled in karate when I was 15, and then nothing really, until I was about 44. My son started karate. And
that is a massive gap.
It is a big gap. My son started karate, and the sensei, the black belt instructor there, said he thought it'd be fun to teach a few adults. So I started up doing that. He then started training at Roger Gracie's and got to the blue belt, purple belt, and decided that if you wanted to be a karate black belt and in his school, that you had also to be a blue belt in BJJ, because he wanted to create a much more rounded fighting system, if you like. Okay. So some throws, some grappling, and then some kicking and punching, and that was good. It really opened up. So I thought, well, if I want to be a blue belt, then I need to study. So he was going to Roger Gracie's, but he said, why don't you
Which
go?
one? Where was this one at this time?
It was in Ladbroke Grove at the time.
Okay.
The tin shack with the metal roof and ice on the floor. Yeah. Before they moved to the big place.
The nice fancy place.
The nice fancy place. But Legato had opened up. Gracie Barra Fulham was open.
Who's Legato?
Legato is Lucio Rodriguez, who's the owner of GB Fulham and a black belt and world champion, famous guy in the jiu-jitsu world. And I believe He
was the black belt instructor, professor, me, my black belt.
The lineage of BJJ is very important.
It is in certain settings. So he got his black belt from Carlos Gracie Jr., who, as you know, is a son of Carlos Gracie Sr., who learned judo from Mitsu Maeda, who is the traveling Japanese judoka, Japanese jiu-jitsu practitioner in Brazil, who basically was one of the first kind of mixed martial artists.
So your legacy you can trace your legacy back to that first.
It's a weird way you think about it. I can trace it all the way back. We can all the way back to Kano.
Who's Kano?
Kano is the founder of judo.
Right.
And his judo school in Japan back at the end of the 19th century. From which Mitsu Maeda came. He was sent across the world. Many of them were sent across the world, weren't they? Different kinds of judo and Japanese jiu-jitsu practitioners, just to spread the art of judo. So some went to Russia, some went to Brazil. The ones in Russia, I think, are credited with the creation of Sambo, but I'll have to check with my friend, Professor Samir, on that front as well. Fountain of knowledge from that area and wrestling. Yeah. But yes, so Mitsu Maeda, yeah.
So we share the same legacy. And when we talked about doing this podcast, I looked into it. What I discovered was that Jigoro Kano was the father of judo in Japan, of course. They did a lot. There was judo. Well, there was jiu-jitsu in England at the time. They were coming over in the mid 1800s.
Because there is I would say Sherlock Holmes, off the top of my head, wrestle somebody to the ground with a bicycle.
Exactly, and a cane and a monocle. Exactly. So there was jiu-jitsu, but the judo didn't really form until Kano formed the Kodokan in Tokyo, which is where Maeda became an instructor there, and then went over to Brazil, and they formed BJJ. But Gunzi Koizumi came to London. He also learnt under Kano, and he opened the Budokai which is still going, and it's in Fulham. His sister married a guy called Percy Sakini, who opened the Jiu which was in Hammersmith, which is where I trained.
Okay.
When I was 10 years old. So I just thought that was fascinating, that I can trace my stuff back to by 1 degree to Kano. Doesn't mean I'm any good at Jiu-Jitsu or BJJ at all.
White belt, they never quit.
Yes.
Okay, you took up Jiu-Jitsu when you're sort of, what age?
I'm 51 when I start BJJ, and I'm the equivalent of purple belt in karate. The belt system's different, but equivalent of purple belt. So there's a brown and a black, hopefully. But the karate school closed. The instructor moved to the Oman. But I just carried on with the BJJ. It was easy down the road, making lots of friends, enjoying it, getting beaten, and just, didn't quit.
So you got your black belt, and you can look back on your journey. Were there any moments you considered quitting from that journey? Don't say daily, because that's my line.
I'm not going to say daily. Every day. Every day. But for different reasons, I think. Sometimes quitting because it's just too hard on the body, and why am I doing this? Because it hurts and I'm no good. Sometimes it's I'm no good, I'm not getting any better, I can't beat people. Sometimes it's the club. Your favourite instructor leaves. A load of people that you were training with in the morning suddenly can't go because they're working differently, or they've moved and changed clubs. So the atmosphere of the club changes, and suddenly you can't think, I actually don't really know many people here anymore. And I did. So all those things can play on your mind.
It's quite a big thing then for those sorts of things to happen. And I know in the circumstances that you're talking about happen a few times, it then becomes a kind of staying is stepping out of your comfort zone, because it's all new, and it's new relationships you have to form, which it can be difficult. I know we've discussed lots of things, like the older you get, it's more difficult for men to form relationships, and the more that happens, the harder it is to constantly push yourself outside of where you were comfortable, just to get along with new people, and then those new people then become your people, and then they leave because life takes over, or they choose a different path, and then the cycle has to be repeated again.
It's funny, since becoming black belt, it has changed. I had a situation recently where a favoured instructor left, and it causes upheaval and turmoil, and people are like, I'm going to leave, or I'm not going to stay here. But I found this time I can just step back and go, I've seen it before, been here before, it'll be okay again. And that seems to be quite a jiu-jitsu thing, which is not overreacting and panicking, and just, let's just carry on.
How you overcome those sort of upheavals, it's then just learning how to be comfortable with the discomfort of these situations arising, which is no different from being uncomfortable under 98 kilograms of somebody when you're 75, and it's fine.
That's the thing though. People think, it's just too hard, I'm going to quit. And I think the way to overcome that is to say, well, okay, we'll quit then. If it's too hard, go. You don't have to do this. No one is making you do this.
No.
Just quit. It's fine. And if a little part of you goes, well, I don't want to, okay.
Lean into that.
That's good then. Then let's find out what it is that's wanting to make you don't like getting hurt, you don't like getting beaten, you find the physicality of it too much. Whatever it is, be honest with yourself, look at yourself and say, that's what is bothering me, and then work out how you can get around that.
Yeah.
And whether that's, do you know what, I just don't want to roll with people at the moment because I can't do it and it scares me. You go, okay, but come on the mats, learn, ease yourself back in. Yeah. Or if it's, I don't like getting beaten, go, well, it's part of the game, but okay, then just ease off. Ease yourself back in.
I think this is one of the reasons this podcast and these interviews are so important, is to try and give this knowledge to more people. Discussed before about how we give this knowledge at the end of the session, and it's like a wave crashes against the individuals that have attended, but maybe only one drop of that wave actually gets absorbed from what we're actually saying. And I hope with this podcast we can reach more people and give this message out, that if you're vocal about what you find difficult and hard, there are people, coaches, fellow students, head professors here, who will help you through, guide you where you need to go in order to then overcome that situation, that issue you've got, so you can keep on training and realise the benefits of Jiu-Jitsu.
That's really interesting. So you opened this gym in order to help people because you feel that Brazilian Jiu Jitsu can help.
Yeah.
You didn't start so you can beat people up and choke them.
Nope.
Or make them look bad.
No, or and lean into it to create my ego and
interesting.
Yeah, it's a different business model than some people we know about. That's the idea. So having that honest conversation with the students, so they can have that honest conversation with themselves and then back with us. It's like, it's going to be difficult. A lot of things you're going to do in life where you're going to get rewards from it are going to be difficult. The sooner you get comfortable with that element, that difficultness, and then you'll be able to reap the benefits of it. the more you invest yourself and your time in it.
Yes, it's an investment in time and money, but it should pay off.
Yeah, will pay off. Will definitely. Keep going, because you will receive your black belt as long as you keep stepping on the mats, getting comfortable in the discomfort of it all. So you mentioned about certain individuals, your karate instructor, your jiu-jitsu instructor. Do you see these as mentors? Did you have any mentors in this art form or in karate?
You want me to say you, don't you?
Yeah.
You're desperate for someone to say that.
Did you see me as your mentor, Professor Abbott?
No, because we didn't roll a lot.
No,
we didn't train
we were
together.
times,
You didn't like.
I knew you.
You didn't like rolling with white belts. And karate instructor was very influential. A lot of teaching methods and some of his concepts and stuff. But also, and I think you mentioned Paul Hartley in your thing, was my first kind of BJJ instructor, gave me my blue belt. Was very good, and Bling. But also people like Natalia and Alessandro, who are both at Fulham, because they're smaller. We've got a very good instructor now at the moment as well. He's very good, but he's 400 feet tall, and his legs are the size of a running track.
My kind of guy.
Having an instructor that really understands and can show you, no, this technique works because look, I'm 2'4" and I'm doing it against this big guy who's 180 kilos. If they can do it and it works, you go, oh, it does work then. Okay. I mean, if you're 6'8", you don't understand what it's like to be 4'2", because you're not 4'2". You just can't.
Yeah, that's one reason I used to really enjoy plugging into Professor Natalia from GB Oval, her sessions, because she's very petite, like Professor Gabby.
Yes, Professor Gabby, yes,
and
exactly.
Be in sessions with her, and she'd show the positions on an uke with similar size, and you'd be like, it's not really going to work.
And then show it on Leslie.
And then show on somebody who's 100 plus kilograms and show how it works. And you're like, oh, that's the meaning of jiu-jitsu. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. Sophia has said this before when she speaks to people about it's very akin to learning a language. And you can learn some of the basics of it, but unless you are constantly speaking it, you're not going to get better at it. If you want to get better at it, you have to keep investing in it. So keep speaking it, keep turning up, keep being on the mats, keep being in the sessions. Choose the sessions you want to attend wisely. Those are the sessions that are going to improve your skill set. Don't turn up just because you want to get another sweat on or you need to chalk off another session, because it could potentially be detrimental to your progression in jiu-jitsu. One, you're not learning anything in that session that you don't already know and you've already advanced through because you're now an intermediate. Two, you're running the risk, if you're training with somebody who's brand new, of them doing something that's going to potentially hamper your progression with injury or anything else, or injure you through what they do, because they're not as skilled as you and don't know what you're doing, which may freak them out a little bit more, create panic, which is what a lot of new white belts carry, is this fear that after or during every specific training role they're gonna die. So they need to use 100% of everything so they don't die.
I've heard this analogy before about learning language. I think it's very good, because you can learn words and you can learn sentences, but the ultimate is that you converse and talk in it.
Yes.
And I think that's true with jiu-jitsu. We learn a technique, we learn a word or a sentence, we learn a concept. Is learning a paragraph, and then stringing them all together is a language. I had a conversation with a white belt on Tuesday, and I made an analogy that it's like spinning plates. So you've got 5 plates you're spinning on, the poles. You've seen the people in the circus spin the plates. As a white belt, you're yanking this pole around, and the plate's falling off, and then you got to do that. And you watch the black belts, and they're just flicking with their fingers, and they're all spinning. And you've got these plates are strength and technique, conquering fear and learning, all the different things. And that's why it feels so overwhelming to begin with, is because it's just so hard to spin these plates.
And you see so many plates.
So you learn the techniques of just flicking it, and it just goes. And
a field of plates. So with the mentors, you've got your journey, habits and routines. Do you have any that you really found crucial in helping you achieve your black belt? That routine of probably waking up and getting on with it is probably one. That old cliche of it's just a white belt that didn't quit.
Well, we sort of talked to this. It's turn up to lessons. It's not rocket science. Just keep training.
Yeah.
Of course, life gets in the way. I've had a lot of injuries, which just meant that you couldn't train, so there's a lot of time out of it. I don't know, I started when I had a really bad back. Weird. Why did I do that? I don't know, but I did. So you just have to adapt. I've had chronic gout for 2 years, which meant I couldn't put any pressure on my toes, which means you can't do anything from mount, you can't do anything from side control, you can't engage your toes on the mat. So that meant that I had to turn up and just watch sometimes, or try and do the drills as much as I could, but couldn't do very much.
And do you think there's anything wrong with that?
Legato from Fulham said, I know you're injured, but I just want you to turn up. Because as soon as you stop turning up, as soon as you stop getting out of the habit of putting the gi on, coming on the mats, being part of the club, part of the community, any excuse if you're not part of that, then you're not going to come back. And this is what I say to people all the time. If you're I'm injured, Professor, I've hurt my arm. Okay, but please turn up. Just put your gi on. Sit on the mats. I know it's frustrating, but just keep being a part of that community. And this has kind of been my life, that with the gout, and then double hernia operation, and rotator cuff injuries, and can't grip with my fingers. And I do wonder why I keep doing this sometimes, but I just can't stop.
So you're an addict?
Yeah, maybe.
So, as a black belt, you've come through, you've trained, you've reached this level, you've experienced COVID, these setbacks. So what do you think is, now looking back, that more important? Physical conditioning to keep you training for BJJ, or focusing on the technical aspects so you can keep refining and building on your original skill set?
I think they're the same. They're sides of the same coin. Because you can't hope to do the technical skills of BJJ if you're not fit.
Yes.
I mean, well, you can, and there are a lot of people who aren't fit who do it, but being fit and flexible is going to make it easier.
Yeah.
But by the same token, if you don't do the technical skills, then you're not doing BJJ. You're just muscling, or you're rolling around in your pajamas. Mm-hmm. And I think as an older practitioner, I think that's even more true. And maybe you have to amend as you go on your journey. You have to amend your training expectations, but I think you have to stay fit. Mm. I think you have to do weight training and conditioning.
That. Yeah.
I mean, you should be weight training anyway. There's a ton of papers about lifting weights into old age just to keep you going. So the answer to your question, in short, is both are really important.
Both are really important. Yeah. But there are levels to it.
Yeah, of course. If you are a professional athlete, you're going to be in the gym and super lifting weights and training hard in competition classes. If you're a pretend hobbyist, you're going to go to the gym once or twice a week and come to a couple of classes and roll with your friends who aren't going to kill you and aren't going to suddenly yank something out of position because they're desperate to get a win.
Yeah. They're not this kind of place.
Tooting is not that kind of place.
Yeah. So now, for you as a black belt, what does it mean beyond the technical aspects of being a black belt?
I'm not sure. I mean, it is a badge of honour because it's recognition that you've stuck at something. Which is tough. Mm. Regardless of your journey, I haven't started jiu-jitsu and become a world champion 10 times over and can beat everyone in the club. But I have come onto the mats and learned a load of techniques and made a lot of friends and been part of the community for 10 years. So that to me is something. But I think there's more than just it's also being part of a worldwide culture. Something bigger than just GB Fulham or GB Tooting or Valor or whatever. This is a worldwide thing. If you are a black belt in BJJ, if you go anywhere in the world, or another Gracie Barra in the world, and you say, I'm a black belt, they go, oh, Professor, how are you? It's not just, well, so what? There is a recognition that you've been through something. And I think that's good. But it is also about being part of a local community and hopefully being able to help people to enjoy the things that I've enjoyed, to grow in confidence and to grow their BJJ skills, whether they are a seasoned athlete or just Bob coming in, 45 years old, looks interesting, I'll give it a go.
It adds value to it through what he does.
I hope so.
Yeah. Once he gets over that fear of think he's going to die every session.
Yeah, once he stops putting his knee on my knee and crushing me, and learning some jiu-jitsu, then it's going to be good.
Yeah. So how did you approach any sort of setbacks you had, but also how do you approach any setbacks and plateaus you have now as a black belt? When I was coming up, and I don't know if this was the same for you, you look at the black belt and you think, they've ascended. They've achieved everything. They know everything. They don't suffer setbacks. They just exist in a different plane. There are no plateaus, because how can there be when you know everything? And then you get there and it's like, oh, don't know as much as I did.
It's funny, isn't it? You look at them, not gods, or some of them are. You look at them and go, wow, yeah, they're black belt. How do they know all, wow. And when you became a black belt, you look back and went, I don't deserve this. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they were thinking. at the time. Have there been any setbacks? Is your plateaus? Yeah, it's been one long setback, mate. To be fair.
If you thought you were going to ascend when you got to a black belt, it's a big setback.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, first was COVID, and then after COVID, didn't really exist as a purple belt. Got the brown belt a bit after COVID, after we come back, and went, hang on a minute, what happened there? I'm not rolling a lot properly because of injuries. I've got this hernia problem still going on. COVID got in the way. So yeah, there have been lots of setbacks. But again, I'm not a seasoned athlete. I'm a part-time hobbyist. So I'm just careful, and also I'm old. I'm 61 now. Crikey, where did that time go? 61, and there are things that I can't do when I started. When I was 51, coming off the back of 10 years of karate, I was stronger. But although I do weight training stuff, I'm getting old. I have to accept that. So I just make sure that I'm careful who I partner with, and we do drills.
Okay to say no to a roll.
It's always okay to say no to a roll. I know that there is a concept, or there's older clubs, you can never say no to a high belt. I think you can. That's it. I'm sorry. We're not part of that culture anymore. No. This is different. This is a community club. We're all here to learn. Respect. Yeah. So you just be careful who you roll with. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to stop. Don't be afraid to just come on the mats and sit in your gi and watch and learn.
Listen to your body.
Yes. Always listen to your body.
Yeah. If you've got one of those days, it feels like, it's going to be I've got pain, it's going to be hard training, it's going to be hard work. Do I need to put myself through it? Do I want another session on the books? Ask yourself.
So this is the question, Tom. So if you have pains and aches, and maybe you have an injury, maybe you've hurt your arm, should you just push through? Just get through it, yeah?
Tape it.
Just come on, yeah.
Tape it and go.
Yeah? Is that what you should do? You should always listen to your body. The trouble is my body's like, no, don't go.
Don't listen to that voice. No, the voice is wrong.
Yeah, that's not your body. That's the fear-based part of your brain. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. If there is still that voice on your body that's saying, yeah, it's probably not a day for a tough session today. It's not a day to stay away. Stay engaged. Stay in the club. Put your gi on, be on the mats, do the positions. You don't have to push yourself in any other training afterwards. It's not expected. If you want it, stay. If you don't want it, it's fine for you to hold your hand up and say, not for me today. Is that okay if I sit out, or you just watch, or help you lifeguard the session to make sure some of these other guys don't get injured or thrown against a wall. Yeah. So, discussed earlier on about mental health, and so what does mental health resilience play, or has it played in your jiu-jitsu? And has the mental resilience you've got from jiu-jitsu, has that been apparent outside of the mats through other elements of your life?
I'm not sure the mental health aspect of jiu-jitsu for me is the same as other people. I know that it does help a lot of people. It's a way of clearing the mind or stopping thoughts. You come on here and you don't think about anything else. And that is true. I do come on here and you don't think about anything else. You're thinking about Bob, who's 85 kilos and he's about to put his knee on your belly and you've got to get out. But I don't think that it's ever helped my mental health. And I have a few. We all do. We all have anxieties and things. But that doesn't mean it hasn't helped me. I'm just not aware that it's helped me. That's a terrible answer.
Because for me, even just training, January has been a mental health roller coaster. But every time teaching, easy, because you're focused on that point. But when you're not teaching and you're rolling, that's when you suddenly can have those situations where your mind can wander. For me, it's been a total relief to have that opportunity just to focus on what's in front of me and it has felt like it's given me the subconscious, or my subconscious, the time just to try and find that meditative state to be able to go, okay, yeah, you just relax, calm down a bit now.
Giving it some space.
Give it some space. I think give it some space. It's active meditation.
I'd love to say that, yeah, I really recognise that jiu-jitsu has helped me in that way. It may be just that I'm just not aware of how it's helped.
Yeah.
You don't know what you'd be like if you didn't do it.
No, I think for my years of other issues that I've gone on that journey to self-reflect on, it's been very clear that jiu-jitsu has played a massive role in me being able to cope with what I've experienced. And I've been aware that when it hasn't been possible for it to work, those days when I've like gone, oh yeah, I've just tore my shoulder out. Why did that happen? So how did you, Professor Adam, transition, as you are now Professor Adam, the coach, from being a student to performing the role as a coach?
Well, I will let you know when it happens.
Okay.
Well, I think the truth is that you're never not a student. Either you are training with your peers or high belts, learning, and you go to a class and someone is instructing and you're going, okay, and you drill and you do that. Or you're watching your students, you're teaching a lesson, you're watching them and they're saying, oh, but this doesn't work. And you go, okay, I hadn't thought of that because I'm not. And you work something out and you learn things in that way. And that's very grateful for you to give me this opportunity to teach at your academy. But this is part of jiu-jitsu and growth. That it's very well being able to say, I can do a triangle. Yeah, I can triangle people. But then teach it to 10 people who can't do it. And you suddenly find out that you weren't as good at it as you thought. So it's a period of growth. Becoming a coach or an instructor is a big period of growth. And I've really enjoyed it because it's given me a reason to swat up rather than just, we did a technique this week and it was okay. And next week we're doing a different technique, and then by the time we come around to that technique, I've forgotten it again. You really have to deep dive into it because you want to give the student value for money. You don't want to teach them rubbish. You want to hope it's helping them. So for me, this has been great to be able to do this and to really immerse yourself in learning.
Do you feel it's given you a better understanding of the fundamentals, the foundational principles of jiu-jitsu, having that opportunity to deep dive, sort of relearning the basics so you can teach it?
I think so. You're going back over them again and learning and joining things up. So in a lesson, I will always try and theme the lesson, or at least I'm just doing 3 completely random techniques. They go, great, get on with it. We'll try and have concepts, try and find what the core concepts are and link them and say, look, this is the concept here. Look, we can do it like this or like this. Or if you do this, they're going to do that. But it's all about your weight position. It's all about your base. It's all about levers. Whatever the concept, I can drag out of it. So that's been great. Then that's helped me because I've gone, some dots have definitely joined that weren't joined before. Yeah. So in that respect, it's been great.
Yeah, I find it very useful when I first started for that, to be able to go back. It's only really since West Kensington when I was teaching the fundamentals there to new belts that you have to go back into the fundamentals and understand it from not just your point of view as that size individual and how you move, but also Bob and Sarah.
I hate Bob.
Gets a lot of bad press, Bob.
Yeah.
But different body types.
Yeah.
Different body ages, a whole host of things. The positions work for everybody, but it might not work in the same way for everybody.
Yes. And to understand the concepts is then to be able to adapt the position so that Timmy, who's very small, can have some hope of doing something. And Bob, who's very big, but is just using his strength, can learn not to do that and do it this way. Because they say, don't they, that you get your black belt and that's when you start learning jiu-jitsu.
Basically, yeah.
And this is true, I think.
Yeah. Do you have a coaching philosophy? And that's probably second question, folding into that, is then how do you use this philosophy to motivate the students that attend your sessions to improve themselves, their technique, commitment, discipline, all these things?
The coaching philosophy is really that anyone can do this to some degree. You might not be as efficient or successful as each other, but on some level we can all do this. And to do that, we just talked about the core elements of a technique, concepts of balance and base, center of gravity. So I hope to give an understanding of as much as I know of that to students. And it is great when you show something really simple, like today, we just showed them from close guard. If someone's standing up on one leg and then they're about to stand up on the second leg, how relatively easy it is just to pull them in and they can't stand up. So I was demonstrating against Bob, was here, and very big guy, and he couldn't stand up because it was a concept. It wasn't my strength. It was a timing issue. It was a concept thing. It was a base, and you see the look on their faces. They go, wow, and I love that. When the student goes, wow. There was a student the other day who was demonstrating a sweep from half guard, and I said, this is the sort of speed. So we show it how what the things are. I said, but you need to time this and link it into one like this. And I think he went, "Puta de la madre," as he went over my head. Yeah. Which I thought was fantastic. He went, oh, wow, okay. Oh, okay. And seeing that kind of understanding, not light bulb moment, but then seeing that, oh, okay, it's not just me grunting and holding on tight and forcing them to the ground, I think is great. So I think that the philosophy is you can do this, you just need to practice. And this is how we do it. I think the confidence and discipline issue is again the same argument. So confidence is really just gentle affirmation. You can do this. It's just going to take you time. If I can do it, You can do it, believe me, because I'm terrible. So you must be able to do it. You just got to keep going, that don't compare yourself to Bob. He's going to beat you every time. There's only one person that you need to beat, and that's yourself.
Yeah. Comparisons kill.
Always. Trouble is, we're human beings and we do it all the time. Yeah. I do it still. I'm sure you do it.
No, I do not.
I don't believe you for 1 second. I don't believe that's true. I think you do. To some degree.
Yes. If I do see somebody with a very nice set of hair, I'll be like, oh, that's very nice.
That's funny.
Wish I had that.
That's funny. I think the point is, it's not necessarily that you don't compare yourself, it's that you know and you recognise it and you stop it. And that's the trick. We can't stop being scared or being afraid, but we can either let it conquer us or we can deal with it.
I'm never going to be as good as that guy, but I can be the best version of myself I can be.
Exactly. Discipline is not something bad discipline is not something I've come across, luckily. I mean, I don't teach the kids, so we don't come across the bad behaviour. But I think that discipline, if it is bad behaviour, it's usually fear-based. And it's a question of just saying, are you okay? What's wrong? Is there anything we can do to help you? You know, if someone is beating people up and hurting people, it's because they're scared, not because I'm really bored and I'm really great and I'm going to be king of the world. It's usually because they can't control themselves because they're scared, even if they're beating up. So they'll be rolling with a smaller person and they'll beat them up. It's because they're scared of rolling with the bigger people that they know will beat them, and that's why they do it. And you have to have a conversation with them. I know that we've been talking recently about some people who are rolling in a way that looks like they're not in control or not being respectful to students. And I think that's just that's a learning process. That's part of everyone's journey. We all kind of go through that. And it's our job as instructors to say, hey, before it becomes too entrenched in the mind and becomes a problem.
So we'll move on to the final few questions of this episode. So we've touched on it briefly. I want to drill down a little bit more in terms of Robert unrelated to mental health issues, but how has Jiu-Jitsu itself helped positively impact your life outside of mats and the academy?
I have thought about this question because I knew you were going to ask it, and I don't know. I'm not saying it hasn't. I'm just saying I don't know. I can't say, I'm super confident I now earn a £3 billion company because I've got the resilience to fight, and can't say that because none of that is true. Yeah. It does teach you to be more respectful to people and stuff. I think probably I do, whether this is a terrible mistake, I do walk down the street head held a little higher, especially if you think they might be, you're in an area and you don't know, you're not sure of people. I won't make myself try and look smaller, I'll make myself look bigger. Yeah,
there's that quote of Gracie. He's like, learn how to fight. I think it's Jocko Willing as well who said it on this podcast. Learn how to fight so you don't have to fight.
Yeah. Everybody wants an easy day at the office, even the muggers. So if they see you looking really confident, they'll probably, I'll give them, I'll look for the small guy.
It helps as well if you're walking around wearing your gi and a black belt.
Well, yeah, obviously I do that. Yeah,
clearly.
Don't you do that?
Every day.
Yeah, good.
Every day. My gym jams. That's it. So, what advice would you give someone starting their jiu-jitsu journey at Tooting today?
I'd say jiu-jitsu is a long journey. All the old things, be prepared to fail often. Don't let ego get in the way. Try and enjoy it. And you're going to get pushed and you're going to get challenged.
And I would go back and say that's probably one of the things that jiu-jitsu has given you and me as well, outside of the mat station, is community and friendships that probably we would not have had. I wouldn't have had this friendship if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu. Simple. And you wouldn't have had this community with all these people if you weren't doing jiu-jitsu.
So now I do have friends. I've been invited to a wedding, one of them, but they're 30-something. I'm 60. We shouldn't be friends, but we kind of are. We have coffee, we'll go for a drink.
And that's society, I suppose, says your friendship group should be your same age. I disagree totally.
But it's interest, isn't it? So
if you have a shared interest.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to the pub and drink 13 pints like a young person might. I'm not going to be interested in going.
13 pints cost you about 60 quid. Twice that, you can come and train here.
It's true. But the point is, you can make friends. Age doesn't matter.
Yes. You
have a shared interest, which is okay. You talk rubbish about jiu-jitsu and pajamas. That's fine.
So we've come to the final question of our podcast. As I could make it so you could give a voice note, but let's just say, what advice would you give to your younger white belt 51-year-old self in 2016 to help them basically understand what it's like now as a black belt?
To my younger self, white belt, the first thing I say is get your hernia done now. Don't wait 6 years and then suffer. Sort out your problems.
Yes. pretty much like the motto is for this place. Do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't.
I was lucky enough to have some instructors who understood what it meant to be an older person. So Professor Paul was the same age as me. So he was going through the things that I was going through. And I didn't have a lot of young people or dads who start at 35 or 45. A lot of them have been in the army, or they've been rugby players, they've got wrestling background. So they come in kind of big and strong and used to the stuff. And I didn't do that. I'm just small and weakling. I mean, the only advice you can give is going to be tough, but just keep going, which I did.
Well done. And it's been a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you a part of this community. I'm so incredibly grateful to Professor Coach Instructor Adam, adds to his friends, for being here for this exciting episode of GBT.
It has been exciting. It has been exciting, hasn't it?
It has.
I don't know how they're going to cope.
We're going to have background noise of fireworks going off and everything.
I think so. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and it is a pleasure to teach here. It is an honour to teach the students.
Thank you very much for checking out another exciting episode of Gracie Barra Tooting's ChatGBT. Next time, we'll be interviewing somebody else.
Thank you. See ya.